good on the overhead camera, Lewis, that's fine. So Ed is got his hand over the camera for some reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but he's basically ready to go. I think the brother was doing a kit change, which was the reason he stuck his hand over the camera. Jess was doing a kit change on the course. Nice. He's just coming around the back, I think. He's just walking into position now, in the middle. He's the short American chap. Short American chap there. Timekeeper. Put your eyes around there, Steve. Steve is now making his way. Steve is just making his way in the middle now. Lewis. He's in place now.
Yep, we're good to go. All goes on.
Yeah, Lewis is
Ladies and gentlemen, now we will meet the team competing in the under-24 women's final round. From beginning, number 2, Kirsty Burrow. Number 3, Anastasia Clare. Number 4, Jan Van. Number 5, Eloise Sharp. Number 6, the captain, Enrique Aguilar. Number 7, Anisha Samuel. Number 8, Sarah Wilson. Number 9, Juliana Kalu-Lee. Number 10, Petra Clarkson. Number 11, Rebecca Hill. Number 12, Rosa Watson. Number 13, Talia Vince. The judges are recognizing include Emma Ray, Crystal O'Neill and Claire George. Please can I ask you to stand for the national anthem of New Zealand.
It's done.
Please stand for the first national anthem.
Shot once again. Reset refs. Change position. Now France about half a mil range shot that one. Doesn't matter. We're cut and ready to go with the refs.
And now for the officials in charge of this game. Water referee Brittany Segal. Water referee Omar Bakar. And water referee Niels van Houten. The chief referee for this match, Lisa Westerby. Her assistant, John Coulter. Timekeeper, Stephen Cars. And scorer, Christoph Hoyer. Best of luck to both teams. Thank you.
Overhead camera on position. Hand down a little bit. Hand down a little bit. If you can. That's it. That's got it. Perfect. That'll do it. Cheers. Cheers, matey.
Can we make sure can we make sure that we look at our maximum items to keep it within the line in case they continue to try to play. There will be rules.
Spider-Man.
It's one of those things, you know, we want
Morena to everyone watching from New Zealand. Hello for everyone watching from the UK and in France. Welcome to the Under 24 Women's Final in the Age Group Championships, where we have New Zealand versus France. New Zealand is in the white, so they'll be playing from the commentary end, and France playing black stick, black hat are at the far end. Both teams have had an exciting journey here to this final, haven't they, Jason?
They sure have, Ed, and good afternoon, everybody. It's been a fascinating journey, this women's under-24 competition. France had a tough battle against Great Britain in their semi-final, but they came through victorious 4-2. New Zealand had the sterner challenge. They had to play South Africa and go all the way to sudden death And finally, after about 7 minutes of sudden death play, 1-3-2. So it's been challenging for both teams to get here, but here they are in the final. This should be a fascinating contest between the two.
It should be definitely. The sudden death scenario yesterday went to, I think the goal was officially scored at 6 minutes 59 or something into the sudden death. We're here to watch that, and it was one of the best games in this tournament, and just shows the fighting spirit of the South African team yesterday and New Zealand today. So if New Zealand continue that, they should prove tough for the French, but then the French are no lightweights, otherwise they wouldn't be here in the final either.
Absolutely. I mean, France always very well organised as a team, as I understand it. One of the tactics might be, if they're going to take free pucks, to drive it down in force, 5 on the bottom from the side into the tin. Haven't seen it happen yet.
And we're off. Both teams striding out for the puck. New Zealand win it, and France take possession back as the tussle is still happening on the halfway line. This goes to the far wall. New Zealand are currently holding it as the team regroups.
So France here, now onto the puck. Lots of bodies down the bottom. Start the game, everybody's lungs are full of oxygen, so they can stay down on the bottom for longer. And this free puck has gone in France's favour. So France going to take this free puck just back on the centre line, really, effectively almost a restart. France now taking the early initiative. They're trying to charge this one. New Zealand 10. Referee has stopped the play. Gloving called against France this time. So New Zealand now with an opportunity to get this one back into the middle and back to safety. It's difficult. I haven't got the results down on paper for the France-New Zealand encounters, but given in the round robin, Edwin, New Zealand only lost once, and that was to Great Britain, I'm guessing they beat the French in the earlier stages of the competition.
Certainly did, and we'll just see if I can pull that up on my phone as I watch the play here now on the far side. On the wall, both teams very equal, not really making much ground or losing much ground, but there are signs of New Zealand prepared to move it around, move it wildly, but then the French also doing the same.
It's good to see, good spells here of swimming and open play. France here with the great big chances. They're charging onto the puck. New Zealand trying to be the match here and getting it swum rapidly into the corner. Really had to turn the taps on there, the New Zealand defender, to make sure France weren't going to go charging straight in with a breakaway goal. It's been held on the wall now. Big long flick for France. This is an opportunity. They try and muscle this one into the tin. They're going to the right, but New Zealand somehow managed to get it back into the corner once again. Great spell of play here by France in the opening portion of this match. New Zealand trying to regroup. France once more trying to twist and turn this to get the puck back onto their stick and go along the back wall. They're charging up to the back wall and chipping it again, but New Zealand stop it, and now trying to swim it out. That was big swipe there by the French attacker on the New Zealand defender. Now trying to chip it long, but it only goes back to France's number 3, who's now down in the middle of the pool and being uncontested. She's going to try and flick this one, but the flick doesn't go long enough for her. It was bobbled along the bottom, and New Zealand were able to sweep it, but the referee, in all fairness, Edwin, did call the infringement, so it possibly wouldn't have gone in anyway. New Zealand here now swimming it right back into the middle of the pool. Bodies on the bottom. Heading up towards France's goal. This is a better spell of play, Edwin.
Certainly is. New Zealand up there on attack now in the final third, bringing it in towards the middle of the pool to give them better scoring opportunities, but France driving it out, trying to take it out the back wall. as they successfully get it to the wall. 2 New Zealand players there ready to stop the intercept. Just going through some of the scores in round robin for the French team, and they had a couple of losses and also some draws in the round robin, so they may not have ranked that highly when it comes to the final seedings, the playoffs, but they've stepped up obviously each time to make it into this final.
And I think that's an important point to make here is, that you can't read everything into the round robins because some teams come into form as the tournament progresses, and France definitely have shown, their fighting spirit here as we get an obstruction call being called in France's favour. So their path not quite as straightforward as New Zealand's to get to this final, but they definitely ended up as a 4-2 winners against Great Britain. They were in control of quite a lot of that semi-final, and I think that France, showed a lot of skill, determination in that match.
Yes, definitely, because in the round robin they had a 3-3 against Great Britain, and then actually their second game against Great Britain was 3-3, so obviously they learned from that and adapted to change to win their semi-final. So good on the French, and it's good to see that they are able to do that.
So far in this competition, in this finals match, it's locked at 0-0. Had one time out for the teams. It's now France with the opportunity here on the free puck. 3 players down the bottom. It's chipped out to the left-hand side. France trying to ensure it's going back into the middle. I like this. But New Zealand getting at least 1, if not 2 players down now. France going backwards, trying to keep it on the stick, which they do. They're very good, the French, at making sure they maintain possession, even if they're being forced onto the defence. Big flick forward there, and New Zealand now scrambling to get this one round wide. Good to see. Really good team play here by both teams.
Yes, both teams kind of tight there. That screenshot you were seeing three from each team on the bottom. They're ready to do their bit for their team and country and what have.
So we've got another free puck against New Zealand. Pretty much in the centre line once again. So at the moment, the story of the first half so far has largely been New Zealand get it into the middle, France try and charge it, New Zealand defend it. Now New Zealand wanting to go on an attack, France keeping close eye on the New Zealand attackers.
France actually having a good phase here, driving New Zealand backwards, drove them back into their own third, and as we see 2 more French players come down to support. New Zealand have regained the puck and are now moving straight up the middle. Big sprint here from the New Zealand player. Will she have someone to support to pass to? Made it up to halfway. She curls and changes direction. 2 players down, but the French player managed to get the tackle in and get the puck.
Puck's left in the middle for anybody to get their hands on there. Nobody wanting to go. I think one of those momentary pauses where everybody goes to the surface at the same time. So happens in this sport. You've got to hold your breath for as long as you possibly can on the bottom of the pool. There's a finite amount of time in which you can do that. So it does happen that everybody ends up running out of breath all at the same time.
Yep, certainly does. Sadly it happens to some of us more often than others.
Yes.
But on the far side, French have got a quick break here. They're coming out on the 45 towards the goal. New Zealand's bringing players around in defence. There's 2, 3 lined up in the goalie. There's 4th. It's right on the corner. It's come across the front of the tin. Referees are signalling. What do they call?
The referee's now calling a timeout by the looks of it, because it did seem strange that when we first saw it, it was about a foot away from the tin, being swam horizontally outwards. So, do you think there's going to be a discussion as to whether it entered the goal or not, Edwin?
Well, they could only count it, as far as we can only count a goal if one of them has actually seen it fully enter the goal space, and touch the back. They can't award a goal on the think that it might have gone in.
So, trying to read the hand signals. Well, it's a penalty.
All right. Obviously, the referee saw something there that may have prevented a goal from being scored. So, almost certain goal being scored. Oh, sorry. I've forgot the wording of that. Now, there's between a penalty shot and a penalty goal. Anyway, it's a penalty shot. France got two players lining up, and sole New Zealand defenders there, coming down the wall.
Oh, that went straight into the New Zealand player's mask. I take it the refs are going to... Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct, headshot called. France tried to fire it long, but all that happened was it flew straight into the New Zealand player's mask with some force, it had to be said.
Yes, that was quite a big hit. We've currently got some players coming in to support. She may be very well injured.
Just to remind people, it's a 2 kilogram puck, isn't it, that we play with?
1.5 and plus the casing, thereabouts. So yeah.
So it's a weighty object. So you can imagine those flicks that people do, given how far some of them leave the bottom of the pool, travel with some force. Thankfully, in our game, we make sure all our players have mouth guards these days.
Yes, safety glass in their masks in case that happens.
So New Zealand player, my apologies, is seeking bit of medical attention on the pool side, but the main thing is she's up and walking.
Yep.
So
we're very lucky we have a registered nurse in our volunteers team who's administering first aid. Okay, it looks like play's going to resume.
So New Zealand are going to get the free puck now.
No, failed penalty shot, so
yep,
it'll resume at halfway.
Okay. Play's going to reset. Scores 0-0 in this final. We're now halfway through the first half. For that dangerous play, France have got a player out for 5 minutes. So that's most of this half now. France are going to be down to 5. New Zealand with an opportunity to make some headway now, one would hope.
Certainly hope they can. I know I don't believe it was anyway intentional by the France to do that, but I'm sure that'll fire the New Zealanders up as they come doing the right hand side here. They're making a break. There's 3 players there in support. We've got one on the other side of the puck. My apologies, there were 4 New Zealand players down as they surged forward. France have managed to hold them out and prevent them from going much further, but New Zealand are swarming in again. Nice formation there from New Zealand to support that.
Gloving's called though against New Zealand, so France somewhere in their defence now try and get this one clear. Dangerous area for them, but
a timeout for the French.
Going back to your point, I think, Edwin, you're absolutely right. I mean, the intention of that penalty shot was obviously what they were trying to do is, as you do with 2 players, you're trying to chip it. You fire it into the air so that it's hopefully just going to go straight over the player's back. But unfortunately, a puck travelling in water doesn't always go where you intend it to, because your aim is to get the puck in the tin, not on a player.
Yep.
So
New Zealand number 3 still sitting on the side of the pool, looking very responsive from what have.
She's taking some water on board.
It's interesting in the round robin. From memory, actually it was on my phone, I believe the scores were 4-3 in the first time these 2 teams met and 4-2 the second time. So France are going to push New Zealand all the way on this as it comes up the wall here. New Zealand's got the puck, trying to take it around the melee. It's gone back on the wall. Plenty of players on both sides down, battling for the puck. New Zealand currently have possession, holding it defensively so that two French players can't come through. New Zealand have gone out on the 45. They're currently across the centre pool. No, it's going the far side. I think French players got it. Taken away from the centre of the pool. Yep, they've gone to the far wall. Numbers are again on the bottom, to each side. Trying to get the puck.
You can see some New Zealand players swimming in from the sub-spin. And some other ones coming out. So they seem reasonably happy.
Stoppage. Advantage has been signalled. They saw something. The referees saw something on the wall, gloving, and they waited to see if there was any advantage. No advantage, so they've called it in New Zealand's favour. France will be pushed back.
So New Zealand here go on the charge. It's skidded round to the right. It's still somewhere in the middle of the pool. However, France clearing it out to the corner. Are they going to try and recycle it round the Kiwis? They're desperately trying to, but hard for them at the moment. France getting it out to the wall. France still have another 2 minutes to weather this storm with only 5 players, but to their advantage. Their sub-spin is where this piece of play is.
It is. We have legal use of the free arm. And again, it looks like the French have been pushed back, so it'll be another advantage puck to New Zealand. The French reserves, support team looking very concerned. There's been a good period of pressure from New Zealand.
I can see the player in the centre there trying to bang her stick on the bottom of the pool to receive the pass. I think the third time it was in frustration because she was expecting the pass to come to her and it didn't.
Gloving foul again. This time it's against France again. So New Zealand have got a third advantage puck up there in the attacking position. New Zealand's certainly not backing off as they flick through. Melee forms on the left-hand side of the goal. They've got a player to the right, but France have managed to drive it out, but New Zealand trying to curl and tackle. France coming right to the right even further. They've taken it right to the wall, away from the goal as far as possible. New Zealand driving up the wall. Well, his legs were pumping. No quarter given there. They've managed to get through. France have taken it back. Curl and then counter curl. Back to the wall.
This would definitely suit New Zealand, it being sat on this right-hand side, because Australia are obviously down a person here. So, away from the sub-spin. No, it's France, Edwin, you're absolutely right. But point is, this is a big kick here by New Zealand. They're trying to force this one in the middle of the tin. Swept out again by France.
France did well there. Now they're trying to bring it up the wall, but New Zealand's secured possession. They're reforming. Trying to go around the bulk of the players. They've brought it out to the centre of the pool. Currently level with the sub-bin. Nice little bit of work there. Dummied around the player. Flicked it back to a support player. France are rotating their players, but just looking slightly stretched here. New Zealand swimming it out again. This time it's coming down the right-hand side, and the buzzer's gone.
This one's going against New Zealand, and now France going to be back up to 6 when this play resumes. They've done well to weather that storm. 2 minutes to go. It's still goalless.
Yes, just 2 minutes left in the half. And the French player is just hopping back in now. You'll probably see her swim past the camera, and there she goes. This player's on the far wall. France looking to drive it up. They're now just inside the New Zealand half. Oh, we have a referee's call. Stick foul against the French.
I always find it difficult for that referee on the left-hand side who has to make all those calls just in front of the sub-spin, so occasionally getting ducked by the players swimming backwards and forwards because they want to get the numbers in and out.
They do. It can be an awkward position for a referee, but sometimes you've got to be there.
So New Zealand charging forward now. They know there isn't much of this first half left. They've got to make an impression. So far, both teams very evenly matched in this competition. We had a penalty, and this time round New Zealand get the free puck. Had a number of these so far. Can this one be the one that counts?
New Zealand will be hoping for that because there's 55 seconds left in the game. They're circling it round. It's currently on the left-hand side of the gully. It's gone towards the back wall. France just holding it out. They want to make sure they want to make sure that no goal is scored. The last thing they want to do is concede in this time of the half. 30 seconds to go. New Zealand have got the puck, bringing it across. France managed to keep it out to the side. Both teams are regrouping, and we've had a stoppage called by the referees. Stick foul again.
Not long now till the end of the first half. I wonder if they're going to be able to reset the play before the clock ticks down to 0. They're going to have to move fast.
2-1, and that's half time. Very tightly contested between both teams. I do think New Zealand had the advantage there when they had 6 versus 5. Lots of good pressure, but the French defence held out really well, prevented them from scoring. Given that New Zealand's already beaten France twice in the round robin, but there's been very close scores, and this reflects in the way both teams are playing. Neither is giving up. Neither is backing off in any way, prepared to both attack and defend as needed to score. I'd say it's still 50-50.
The one thing I would say is France had a penalty, and they really should have converted that. It was the fact that they launched the puck with so much vigour it hit the New Zealand player in the face was the reason they didn't get a goal and not be ahead in this match. So I think it's fair to say that what seems to be happening here, in my opinion, Edwin, is we've got both teams have extremely strong defence, and there are the attacking portions of each team are struggling a little against that defence. At the moment, the play's going up either end, but it's not really. It's just coming out to the sides time after time. So, was there anything that you think that New Zealand should try and change now that you've seen them in this first half with how they need to kind of play in the second?
I can't think of anything. However, just counting the team members at the far end, I believe I'm seeing 10 swimsuits in the water, which suggests that the number 3 has rejoined the game.
Yep, I believe she has.
Which would be good news for the New Zealand team. I think they're going to stick to their game plan. Maybe look for the cut on the 45s to try and break the melees open when it's tight around the puck for both of them. I think France is favouring the walls slightly, so maybe cutting out in the 45 or even going wide may be the answer. Seeing the way the French have played, though, a couple of times that has happened, the French have countered that. So tough game for both.
We know that we've had 205 previous matches, and this is the 206th in this tournament. None of them have gone goalless to full time, as far as I'm aware. So, could this one be the first, I wonder? I know it's obviously going to end up with a result one way or another, but this seems deadlocked right now. It could be as little as a penalty going one way or another that could call this.
It very well could.
Be interesting to see what the teams are going to do now in the second half. They've had 15 minutes of play against each other. Let's see what happens. Play gets underway. This is going to be close, almost to the puck at the same time, but France marginally managed to punch it first forward, but it's gone straight back to New Zealand. Once again, charging down in numbers, everybody on the bottom of the pool, trying to find space. Lots of players down, back tackling.
When New Zealand are trying to bring it off the wall, there's a French player coming on the inside as they curl around. New Zealand player curls around, they're automatically tackled, making it very difficult for them to get that switch or cut on the 45. New Zealand back up on attack. Players in the centre of the puck. Oh, that was a nice switch of play there. They thought they were going to go right, but they went straight out the middle of the pool and gained 2-3 lanes out of that. Brilliant little move there by New Zealand as they forced the French right back. France have got it on the wall on the far side.
So New Zealand were being forced backwards, but I think the referees must have been playing an advantage, because once France started going back into the middle, the play was stopped. New Zealand with a free puck now.
France on the defence again. Play just outside there, just outside the 5 metre line. It looks like so many bodies on the ground, it's hard to work out exactly where the puck is.
Oh,
One on
this
one.
is fantastic. Ooh. Advantage was being played, but the infringement was called. Obstruction. So New Zealand get the free puck. That for a second there, Edwin, looked as if that could have been chipped in the tin.
Certainly looked at it. The New Zealand player was coming across 1-on-1. They restart. 2 in front. 2 more coming down from New Zealand. Total of 5 on the bottom there now, if not 6. Can't see the 6th player. France have managed to drive it to the side.
Slowly the French conveyor belt sends the puck to the corner and then down the wall.
New Zealand got a player sitting 5 metres inside, waiting for that big pass. They're coming round the back there. They've gone to as far as the wall. New Zealand up on attack. I can see players driving in. They're driving as closer. It's coming across the front of the goal. France swimming it out. It's curled. She flicks back in towards the centre. France have stopped her again. New Zealand driving it back in. It's now gone out the other side. And we have a referee's call. That puck went backwards and forwards across the goal.
That was a furious piece of defence. Once they see the puck going in, France put their foot down, plough out sideways. So once again, free puck.
Yes, New Zealand taking the free puck on the right hand side. Big flick to the centre. Plenty of players there to support and drive it in. France trying to bring it straight out. But New Zealand's flicked it past them, but the French gets cool and pass. It's driving out up the centre. Has it gone in? Everyone's rising. The referees are confirming that is a goal for New Zealand. Number 10, I believe. There's a long period of pressure in the first half, followed up by more pressure here in the second half, and New Zealand have been rewarded with a goal.
You're all right, Edwin. Number 10, Petra Clarkson, gets the goal for New Zealand, gets them on the score sheet in this final. That was a long period of sustained defence by New Zealand. Eventually, the cracks started to show. New Zealand, the well-worked free puck, charged and got it in the middle of the tin. So now France have got to come back fighting, get themselves back into this game, and look at this. 4 of them down on the bottom, trying to fire it towards the middle of the pool. New Zealand get it out to safety on the side.
France recover it, bringing it back towards the centre. Again, they've got the 3-4 bodies down. New Zealand take it out to the wall. New Zealand trying to bring it across. They've got the bodies down this time. They flick it through, but France managed to gain the puck. Great little back tackle by New Zealand. New Zealand still got the numbers down. Oh, and there's a quick break here, and the buzzer's gone. Ooh, that would have been close, because that would have easily been another break. They would have gained 5-6 metres and been right up on attack again. New Zealand's just starting to find chinks in the armour here, cracks in the wall, and make good ground against the French.
And now New Zealand taking the chance to try and consolidate their position. They've called the timeout. So this is now more important really for France to work out what they're going to change up, because they've now 1 goal behind. They know how close this match is. The last thing they want is a frantic scramble towards the end, so they need to get back in contention early, try and get it back on an even keel.
They certainly will.
It's been very close still, I would say, but New Zealand have had the greatest spell of possession at the start of this second half. 10 minutes remain. New Zealand 1 goal up, and France with the free puck. So that's an interesting free puck there. There was 2 players lined up side by side. I think the element of confusion was supposed to be there for New Zealand. France trying to punch this one through the mass of New Zealand bodies. It's going backwards closer to the tin. New Zealand are scrambling to get this one. France still trying to chase it, but it's going down and out to the wall.
Plays now on the far side. New Zealand's turn to be on defence. Cycling the players round. It looks like it's still on the wall. France lining up so they can bring it across if needed. But New Zealand have got it. They've broken out. 3-on-1 here. The French player managed to get it, but New Zealand still swimming quite strongly. Second player's got it. Trying to get it through to their third player. Starting to run out of steam, but they've switched it and there's more support coming in. France have recovered it. New Zealand managed to make it all the way up to the halfway line. It was a fantastic break. They're now currently battling on the wall.
So France trying to make ground here. New Zealand having to twist, turn, recycle. Long passes. This time New Zealand break through the first French player, only to find some stronger resistance from the second. And France now trying to wrestle this one into free play. The bodies keep on coming. They're getting closer to the tin, but New Zealand switch to get it out to the wall mode. It's a free puck, mind you, for France here. So France now with the puck reset in the middle of the pool. Good opportunity for France. It's fired into the middle, it bounces around a bit. Swept out, but France still have it on the stick. They're trying to chip it back into the middle. It's still being wrestled around in the middle of the pool. It's getting closer to the tin, but it is going out sideways to the wall once more. The New Zealand defence still holding strong.
French players down both sides of the puck waiting for it to come through. One stage there they had a French player.
Advantage being called by the referee here. So presuming that they're waiting for France to see if they can confirm. It's wrestled right on the corner of the tin.
Everyone's coming up.
And I think we had the camera shot here on the central referee, who seemed pretty vehement that it was illegal use of the free arm there being used.
That was a signal. Legal use of the free arm against New Zealand. Maybe they weren't confident that it had gone in cleanly, so they, rather than penalise the French, they've gone back to the original foul, which would have been against New Zealand, which is the correct thing to do.
So France now trying to charge this one. A great flick there. It's getting closer to the tin. They're trying to sweep it in from the side. They're trying to power their way in through the side. They're locked.
Everyone's come up again.
This time round, France have succeeded.
1-1.
The French crowd exceptionally happy with that outcome, unsurprisingly.
They certainly are.
So France, Clémence Meunier with the equaliser. It's 6 minutes 45 seconds and counting remaining in this match. Back on even terms.
New Zealand just first to the puck there. Play currently in the middle of the pool. France are coming through, driving New Zealand back. New Zealand taking it to the side.
And France once again. A few too many infringements being called against New Zealand at present, giving France a bit of an advantage.
Yes. They keep getting infringements like that, people are going to start going into the bins, which will offer a just real advantage then in the water.
France now trying to charge this one, but once again New Zealand find the wall. They're exceptionally well drilled, strong. The New Zealand defence only been broken the once in this match, but now they're under pressure. Players lined up by the tin to make sure it's not coming back down the wall. So it's gone into the corner.
New Zealand cycling its players. It's always one on the puck and one behind
Gloving
them.
called against New Zealand. So France again with a free puck.
A little bit of pressure play here from them. They've been really focused for the last 2-3 minutes. Lots of pressure. Driving it back in. Puck's been driven along the back wall. New Zealand brought it out. Coming up on the 45. Big flick. Player coming across the centre of the pool to the near side. And there's past and support player.
No New Zealand player the other side of the French, mind you, on that occasion. So New Zealand still opting to be slightly more defensive about this. But now France on a big charge. New Zealand power it out to the side. It's going back to France once more. Referees. Gloving called against New Zealand. Some desperate scrambles there, but they got it clear once more.
No goal scored, which would be the thing they're wanting, but it wasn't the cleanest of our defences.
Here we go once more. France. Oh, the referee resetting the puck first of all. Nearly got taken out of his hand, but it's in the right place now. Players descend. France trying to flick that one long, but it goes straight into the bait ball in the middle. New Zealand scrambling still. Referee gloving now called against France. So New Zealand weather another storm.
They do. They've got some breathing space. Timeout called by the French. 3 minutes 33 left on the clock. Both teams will be wanting to regather themselves, knowing that if they can't score the winning goal in the last 3 minutes and 33 seconds, then this match will have to go into overtime. And I'm sure that neither team wants that, because it really starts sapping the legs. It really starts taking away at your energy levels. And we've seen some of the games here where teams have gone into extra time and what have, and you can tell it starts to wear the body down.
Absolutely. Well, New Zealand know this full well, because yesterday they went to overtime and then a long period of sudden death, and they had the stronger legs in the end against South Africa because they scored a breakaway goal to score their golden goal. You wouldn't like to necessarily say that hasn't taken its toll on the New Zealand team having to do so. I mean, it's another day today, clearly, but
certainly a 47 minutes worth of hockey yesterday in one game for them may have an effect, but let's see how they can manage this.
Just waiting for the play to reset. New Zealand here
Referee's
don't want
timeout.
to have to go the long way around for this final. They would rather get a winning goal, as would France, I am sure.
New Zealand take the free puck, but immediately sweep it sideways to the far side of the pool. Slightly different tactic, rather than trying to go through the French. Currently it's on the far wall. New Zealand still holding it, but it's been driven back into the corner.
I felt New Zealand were slightly lucky there with their substitution. They were left a little undermanned, but once again their timing, as always, impeccable.
Vanish puck to New Zealand, this time on the right hand side, far side of the pool. New Zealand just driving it straight through the French group at this time. France have got it back, pushing back. Players now currently outside the New Zealand sub bin. Both teams have got players lined up, almost like a rugby patch, ready to swing it out either way. France content to keep it on that wall and just drive it through, but New Zealand have got it. They're doing the big swim out wide. French player comes in for the tackle, the New Zealand player in for support. Players now on this side of the pool. New Zealand have got it, but France have managed to took it off them, but New Zealand got it back. Lots of very close battles here in terms of just play possession of the puck, just switches so quickly.
The play's stopped here again. Both these teams are marking each other so closely that no one player is able to break free, because they're just instantly being charged down by their opposite number.
Yes, very tight marking, and that's why it's changed so quickly. Someone's got the puck and thinks they can start making ground, and bam, they're tackled. New Zealand take the advantage puck, swimming it off. 1 minute 52 left in the game.
New Zealand now on the charge. Good swim here into the middle of the pool, trying to lay it off to another New Zealand player. They've got several options here. It's going through the middle, and this is a fantastic chance. It's gone into the tin.
Is that a goal?
It is.
The referees are confirming. It is a goal for New Zealand, number 2. That will make it 2-1 with 93 seconds left in the game as the clock continues counting down. Kirsty Burrows will be absolutely stoked about that.
An incredible period of patient defending there by New Zealand, showing their mettle, allowing France to battle time and again up against the tin, waiting for the opportunity. When it came, they seized it with both hands. So New Zealand back in front here. There's only a minute remaining. France are going to have to charge hard now to get this back on an even keel. Time is running out for them.
This will be one of the longest minutes for the New Zealand team. They won't want us to sit defensively. They will want to keep France as far away as possible from their goal.
Unfortunately for New Zealand, the first infringement goes against them, so they're now pushed back into their half once again. Long pass there by France. New Zealand charging out to the side, try dummy it round the French player who's too smart, puts it back on their stick. It's being wrestled around in the middle of the pool. It's being called this time against France. The clock ticks closer to the end of this match. 40 seconds remain.
New Zealand's lined up 3 and 3. France lining up opposite them, ready to receive the advantage puck. New Zealand come down and they take it and off they go. All starting behind the puck. Flick onto their left, coming up this near side wall. Just still driving it through. This French player on the side here is very strong. Number, is it 6 or 9? Managed to stop New Zealand quite a lot. Oh, they've now
New Zealand up with another charge. This is just what New Zealand want to close this match out, to be trying to force yet another goal. And in fact, they may well get a chance to do so.
It looks like they have. Referees are checking.
And that's that. That's the end of that match. Even though there's 2 seconds on the clock, France suffer a late further goal by New Zealand.
3-1. What a fantastic final.
New Zealand really turning the power on there in that second half. 2 goals in reasonably quick succession. France couldn't find an answer to it. So New Zealand, as they've proven throughout this tournament, just too hard to handle.
Definitely, it was almost like that second half had 3 phases. Both teams are really equal in the first 5 minutes. The second 5 minutes, it looked like the French had the upper hand. They spent a lot of time on attacking in New Zealand's half, but just couldn't quite get it in. That last 5 minutes, New Zealand put the pressure on, got 2 good breaks and 2 quick goals out of it, which then that was the nail in the coffin and just gave them the win.
Well done, New Zealand. Gold medal in the women's under-24 goes to you. France with the silver. Final score here 3-1. Thank you, Edwin, for commentating that match. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Jason. Farewell to everyone out there who's been watching this live.